everyone, welcome back to Love English Lab. I'm Megan, and I'm really glad you're here today. We're talking about one of the biggest challenges for English learners, understanding fast English speakers.
And I'm David. If native speakers make you feel overwhelmed because they talk so quickly, or you want to improve your listening in a big way, make sure to subscribe and join our global community of learners.
Understanding fast English is something many students want, but it often feels impossible. The sounds blend together, the words disappear, and the meaning gets lost.
Right. And then comes the frustration. You study vocabulary, grammar, and you practice speaking, but when someone talks at a natural speed, it suddenly feels like you're hearing a completely different language.
Exactly. And here's the important part. Understanding fast English is not about memorizing more vocabulary. It's about developing listening habits that train your brain to process real spoken English.
Your brain needs a simple system, a method you can repeat every day without pressure.
And that's what we're teaching today. A 3-step method that actually works. No complicated theory, no difficult phonetics. A practical method you can use right away to catch fast speech.
And the best part is that it doesn't require long study sessions. You can practice while walking, cooking, working, or during your morning routine.
Exactly. It's designed for real life. Because you don't understand fast English just because you study English. You understand fast English because you train your ear with English every day.
And this method helps you build that habit slowly and naturally. You won't feel stressed, you won't feel lost. Your listening grows little by little.
And remember this from the start. Understanding fast English is not about catching every word. It's about hearing the main idea and the sound patterns.
When that happens, everything becomes easier. Conversations feel lighter. Your confidence grows. You participate more naturally.
And the method works for every level. If you're B1, you can start training today. If you're B2, this method will help you reach automatic comprehension, where fast English finally makes sense.
Today, we'll show each step with clear examples, simple exercises, and real-life situations.
And when you combine the steps, your brain starts processing English without effort. That's when the magic happens.
So if you've ever said, I want to understand fast English, but I don't know how, this lesson is for you.
And by the end, you'll have a daily plan. Not a difficult plan. A real, simple plan you can follow without adding extra work to your life.
So get ready. Your listening is about to become clearer, faster, and more natural.
Let's begin with step 1. So David, let's start with step 1. This step is the foundation for everything else. If learners only follow this step, they will already feel a big improvement in their listening.
Yes, absolutely. Step 1 is about using simple English first, but more importantly, it's about listening for key sounds and stress patterns instead of trying to catch every single word. Because sound recognition is what helps your brain process fast speech automatically.
Right? Many learners block themselves because they try to hear every individual word. They want a perfect word-for-word translation in their mind, but native speakers reduce words or link them together all the time.
And that slows everything down. Their brain gets confused and they miss the next few words because they're still thinking about the last one.
Exactly. But when you listen for key sounds and stressed words, your brain processes faster because it focuses on the important information. You don't need perfect word separation. You just follow the rhythm and the main message.
Yes. And listening for key sounds is what native speakers do naturally. We don't hear every single the or a. We focus on the stressed words, the ones that carry meaning.
That's true. And native speakers reduce lots of expressions. Instead of going to, you hear gonna. Instead of want to, you hear wanna. If you expect the full version every time, you'll miss what comes next.
So the first step to understanding fast English is this. Train your ear to recognize common reductions and focus on the stressed words.
For example, instead of trying to hear, what are you going to do, as 5 separate words, train your ear to hear, what are you going to do? It's a different sound pattern, but it's common and natural.
Exactly. Focus on the stressed words. What, gonna, and do. Your brain knows those carry the meaning.
And what happens is that your brain starts accepting these natural sound patterns as normal. It feels more familiar every time.
And the more familiar it feels, the faster you can process it.
Another example is, I don't know. Native speakers often say, I don't know. Instead of trying to hear do not know, train your ear for the natural version.
Yes, and you can pay attention to how words connect. I don't know, flows as one sound. Gonna do flows as one sound. Just small connections like that.
Nothing complicated. You're not analyzing phonetics. You're simply training your ear to recognize patterns in spoken English.
And that's how the brain learns, through simple repetition.
Some learners worry and say, but I don't know all the reductions. And that's fine. Start with the most common ones.
Yes, listen for wanna, gonna, gotta, and hafta. These appear everywhere and they keep your brain inside English.
Exactly. And listen for small reductions too. For can sound like far, as in this is for you. And can reduce to n, as in rock and roll.
The important thing is that you stay inside the English sound system, even if you don't catch every letter or every syllable.
And every time you stay inside that natural sound flow, your listening habit gets stronger.
Another great practice is identifying the stressed words in a sentence. For example, in I'm going to the store, the words going and store carry the meaning.
These little stress points feel simple, but they train your brain to focus on the essential message without effort.
Yes, because those words deliver the core idea. Your brain loves that efficiency,
And you don't need to analyze every sentence, just a few minutes at a time.
right? Even short moments of practice help your brain process fast English more naturally.
Another helpful technique is listening to the same short audio clip several times. The first time, focus on the general idea. The second time, listen for reductions. The third time, listen for the stressed words.
You can ask yourself, what's the main idea? Did I hear gonna or going to? Which words were stressed? That's already training.
And you can do this with a podcast clip. For example, I'm checking messages, or a line from a show. I'm heating the pan. I'm cutting vegetables.
These little sentences are small, but they build a strong habit for recognizing spoken English.
Because understanding fast English doesn't start with perfect vocabulary. It starts with recognizing the sound patterns.
And once those tiny sound patterns become automatic, you naturally move to more complex comprehension.
Exactly. It's like building a house. You can't start with the roof. You start with the foundation.
And recognizing key sounds is that foundation.
Another important thing is this. Don't judge your listening. Don't criticize yourself for not catching every word.
Yes, that's huge. If you mentally correct every missed word, your mind slows down again.
Listening to fast English isn't about perfect transcription. It's about understanding the message.
And the best part is that learners can practice this anywhere. At home, at work, on the bus, or while waiting in line.
Yes, it's zero pressure. You're just listening. No performance, no fear.
And this step prepares you for step 2, which is even more powerful. Step 2 helps you turn simple sound recognition into real comprehension.
Right? Step 1 is catching the sounds. Step 2 is using those sounds to understand the context.
And when these steps work together, automatic comprehension becomes a natural habit.
So let's move to step 2 and show learners how to grow this foundation into something even stronger. Now that learners understand how important it is to catch key sounds and stress, we can move on to step 2. And this step is all about using context.
Yes. Step 1 trains your brain to notice the natural flow of spoken English. Step 2 trains your brain to connect those sounds to the situation around you so it feels like real understanding and not just isolated sounds.
Exactly. Recognizing words is great, but at some point you want your listening to work even when you don't catch every single word.
Right? And the way to build that skill is by using simple context clues, not complicated ideas, just small details that help your brain fill in the missing pieces.
One of the easiest context clues is the topic of the conversation. If you know you're talking about food and you hear something like eaten, your brain naturally understands it's eating.
Yes, it feels logical. You're joining the sound with the topic you already know.
Another great clue is tone of voice. If the speaker's voice rises at the end, it's probably a question, even if you didn't hear every word clearly.
And the best part is that you're not translating. You're moving forward with English by using English context.
Exactly. You create meaning, and meaning keeps your brain engaged.
Another important context clue is body language and facial expressions. They help you understand emotions and intentions instantly.
Yes. For example, if someone is smiling and speaking fast, even if you miss a few words, you know the message is probably positive. If they look frustrated, it's probably a complaint or a problem. Simple clues like that keep the understanding alive.
And the physical setting is another strong clue. Very natural. If you're in an airport and you hear flight, gate, or boarding, you already understand the general topic, even if some words are reduced or unclear.
And what's interesting is that we use these context clues in our native languages too. But when you use them in English, everything becomes clearer and more intuitive.
Yes, and honestly, most conversations in everyday English depend heavily on context.
Exactly. People don't speak in isolation. They speak with shared knowledge, familiar situations, and visual cues.
Another part of step 2 is predicting what might come next. Not big predictions, just one small idea that helps you stay connected.
Right. For example, if you hear, "I'm gonna grab some," and they're walking toward the fridge, you can easily predict juice or water.
Those small predictions give your mind something to hold on to. They keep the understanding moving forward.
And connecting with your own knowledge helps too. If they're talking about a movie you watched last night, your brain uses that to understand more, even if you miss a few words.
The more you connect what you hear to what you already know, the more alive your listening becomes.
Another great technique is asking short clarifying questions, not to translate, just to confirm. Something like, "Did you say later?" Or, "What was the last part again?"
Yes, clarifying questions keep your mind inside English. They move the conversation forward without stopping your flow.
And you don't need long explanations. Even simple questions work perfectly.
Exactly. And when you combine context clues with small clarifications, your understanding of fast English lasts longer and becomes stronger.
Yes, instead of listening to one sentence in English and immediately switching back to your native language, you stay in English for several seconds or even minutes. Context helps you remain inside the language.
And that's how fast English becomes automatic, by staying inside the language longer each time.
Another powerful strategy in step 2 is imagining quick visuals in your mind. Not long stories, just instant pictures.
For example, if you hear, "I'm heading to the gym," you can imagine them putting on sneakers or carrying a bag.
Yes, it's fast, simple, and natural. And your mind practices comprehension by building small visuals.
And you don't need a quiet place to practice this. You can do it while walking, sitting on the bus, or waiting in line.
Another helpful exercise is describing your surroundings and connecting them to what you hear. Not everything, just one or two details.
For example, "The cafe is packed today, so maybe they're talking about waiting times." Or, "There's art on the wall, so maybe this is a conversation about creativity."
These tiny descriptions connect your environment to your listening. And when English meets your real life, understanding becomes easier.
Another tool you can use is background noise. If you hear sirens, you can predict the conversation might be about an accident or an emergency. It gives your mind direction.
Yes, background clues help your brain think forward, and forward thinking reduces the need to translate.
And the more your mind moves forward in English, the less it tries to go back to your native language.
Another thing I love about step 2 is that it teaches you to stay relaxed. You're not chasing perfection. You're letting your mind follow the clues.
Yes, pressure kills comprehension, but gentle deduction builds it.
And once step 2 becomes a habit, something amazing happens. You start understanding fast English without noticing the strategies behind it.
Yes, you understand more and more, even if you don't catch every word.
And that prepares you perfectly for step 3. Step 3 is where your comprehension becomes faster, stronger, and more natural.
Yes, step 3 is where fast English stops feeling like a challenge and starts becoming a language your ears understand without effort.
So let's move to step 3 and show learners how to make fast English the natural language of their everyday life. So, David, now comes the exciting part. Step 1 gives learners sound recognition. Step 2 teaches them to use context. But step 3 is where everything becomes automatic. It's where you really start listening like a pro.
Yes, step 3 is the moment when your brain chooses English comprehension by itself. You don't force it, you don't push it. It happens naturally because the habit is strong and you've trained your brain to be an active listener.
And learners need to understand something important. Automatic comprehension doesn't come from understanding 100% of every word. It comes from being okay with enough and staying engaged while you listen.
Exactly. And step 3 is all about creating small routines that make active listening your default mode in certain moments of your day.
Right? Not all day, just specific moments. Because your brain learns faster when active listening is connected to something real in your daily life.
For example, one of the best automatic listening moments is when you choose to listen to something in English, a podcast, a video, or a short clip. If you commit to active listening, your brain enters comprehension mode instantly.
Yes, even something simple like, I'm going to listen for the main idea, or I'm going to catch 3 new words. It sounds basic, but it's powerful.
Another automatic moment is before a real conversation. If you mentally prepare yourself to listen actively, your brain adjusts and gets ready.
These small routines train your brain to choose active listening instead of passive listening.
And the brain loves repetition. When active listening appears again and again in the same context, it becomes automatic.
Another great step 3 technique is using quick mini summaries in your mind, short ones. For example, after someone speaks, you think, okay, they're talking about this, or they want that.
Yes, these short mental summaries are incredibly effective. They help your mind process and remember information quickly without needing every single word.
And because they're so short, they don't create pressure. They feel natural, like a soft check-in with yourself.
Another powerful trick is using English for your immediate reactions. For example, thinking interesting, or I see, or that makes sense after someone speaks.
Yes, those small reactions are some of the first things that become automatic when you really engage with the language. And if you train them intentionally, they start appearing faster.
And they're so short that they're easy to practice anytime.
Another step 3 strategy is using English for your follow-up questions in your mind. For example, thinking, why did that happen? Or, what does that mean?
These repeated questions become mental anchors. Since they're always the same, your brain learns them as default reactions.
Exactly. And the more automatic reactions you build, the more your English comprehension appears naturally throughout the day.
Another technique is switching your inner problem solving to English. For example, instead of thinking, ¿Qué significa eso? You think, what do they mean? Or, can I guess from the context?
Yes, that's huge. Inner problem-solving guides how your mind understands. When those questions start appearing in English, that's real automatic comprehension.
And the questions don't need to be complex. Even simple ones like who, when, or where help your brain stay active.
Another helpful part of step 3 is using English during emotional moments. For example, when someone shares a story, you think, that's sad, or that's funny.
Yes, emotion creates memory. Connecting English to emotional moments makes English comprehension stronger.
And the more emotional moments you connect to English, the more your mind accepts English as a natural language for understanding real life.
Another technique is making quick summaries before you speak. For example, after someone finishes talking, you think, okay, they want this, or they're explaining that before answering.
These are the exact thoughts people use in everyday conversations. And when those thoughts start happening in English, your understanding becomes smoother and faster.
And something I always tell learners is don't wait for perfect understanding. Automatic comprehension grows from accepting enough, not from chasing perfection.
Exactly. Enough is what keeps the mind moving forward. Enough is what creates confidence. And enough is what leads to fluency.
Another good exercise is choosing one listening moment in your day that is always done actively in English. Your commute podcast, a short news update, or a specific YouTube video.
Yes, that's like creating a small English bubble, a moment where English is the only language you use for comprehension.
And inside that bubble, English becomes a default mode. Your brain forms a clear association.
And over time, that bubble expands. It grows into more moments of your day until English comprehension appears naturally, even when you're not trying.
And at that point, you're not pushing or forcing. Understanding fast English becomes automatic.
That's the whole purpose of step 3. Build automatic comprehension through repetition, small routines, and everyday moments.
And what I love is that when learners reach this stage, their confidence changes completely. Fast English stops feeling like an obstacle. It becomes a natural stream of information they can follow.
Yes, and their speaking becomes clearer and more natural because their listening is already working inside English before they speak.
And once learners experience that feeling, they understand that full listening fluency is not just possible, so it's already happening.
So in the next chapter, we'll show them how to practice these 3 steps in real life with simple daily examples.
Yes, real-life applications make the method easier, stronger, and more natural.
So, David, now that we've explained the 3 steps, I think this is the part learners will love the most: how to actually use the steps to understand fast English in real life.
Yes, because a method is great, but it only works when you bring it into your daily routine. And the truth is, you don't need hours. You just need small, repeated moments of focused listening.
Exactly. And the cool thing is that each step fits into a different moment of your day. Step 1, key sounds, is perfect for short audio. Step 2, context clues, works great during visual interactions. And step 3, active engagement, happens naturally during your routines and focused listening times.
Right. Let's start with step 1, training your ear to catch key sounds and stress. This step works best when your mind is fresh or when you're listening to short, manageable clips.
Like listening to a single sentence from a movie.
Exactly. Instead of playing a whole scene and feeling overwhelmed, you take 5 or 10 seconds and give your brain one simple phrase to focus on.
Something like, did they say gonna or going to? Or, which word was stressed? Super simple.
And that's the point. Step 1 isn't about being correct or advanced, it's about creating a small English moment that sharpens your listening.
Another great moment for step 1 is when you're doing something repetitive, like making coffee or cleaning the house, with English audio in the background.
Yes, these moments are perfect because you do them every day. They don't need full concentration. You can let your mind catch tiny English sound patterns without pressure.
And learners should remember, the goal is not perfect analysis. The goal is recognizing typical fast speech patterns.
Exactly. Hearing I don't know or what do you mean as normal English is enough. Every small recognition is training.
Now, step 2, context clues, works best when you have visuals to help you, or when you're in a real conversation and can see the other person's body language.
Yes, visuals help your mind build connected understanding. So you take a sound you caught from step 1 and expand it with the situation around you.
For example, step 1 is, I heard gonna. Step 2 becomes, they're looking at their phone, so they're probably gonna call someone.
Yes, or you hear late and the person is checking their watch, so you understand they're probably talking about being late.
These small expansions help you understand naturally without needing every single word.
Yes, you use English to connect the pieces in real time. And because it's real, your brain learns faster.
Another great moment for step 2 is when you're in a specific environment, like a store or a restaurant.
Right? You can use the environment as a clue. If someone says bill while handing you a paper, you immediately know they mean the bill. Natural, simple English.
And once these connected understandings feel comfortable, you're ready for step 3, active engagement and embracing enough.
Step 3 works best during focused listening or during real conversations where you need to participate. These are moments that require a bit more mental energy.
For example, when you listen to a podcast specifically to improve your English, you can train yourself to mentally summarize the main points.
Or during meetings, your active thought can be, okay, what's the key takeaway? Or what's the next action?
These tiny questions guide deeper comprehension.
Another perfect place for step 3 is during your commute. Many learners listen passively, but they could use that moment to recap the podcast or predict what the speaker will say next.
Questions like, what was the main idea? What might come next? Or, do I agree with this? Keep your mind active.
And when those questions appear in English, your mind starts processing in English too.
Emotional moments are also great for step 3. When you hear a powerful story, you think, that's amazing. When you hear bad news, you think, that's awful.
Yes, emotional reactions are some of the fastest things to become automatic. And when they happen in English, your comprehension strengthens quickly.
Another simple exercise is choosing one piece of audio each day for active listening. A short news clip, a TED Talk, a quick interview, anything.
Yes, that audio becomes your English comprehension zone. A small moment where English is the only language your mind uses for understanding.
And over time, that zone expands. You start understanding fast English outside of that moment too.
Another easy way to apply these steps is by using reminders. For example, you can put a note on your screen that says, just get the gist. That supports step 1 and step 2.
Or you put a note on your headphones that says, listen and react. That encourages step 3.
Yes, visual reminders are powerful. They interrupt passive listening and bring you back to active comprehension.
And learners should know that mistakes are part of the process. Automatic comprehension doesn't mean perfect comprehension.
Exactly. When your brain starts processing faster, you will sometimes miss a word or misinterpret something. And that's okay. It means you're actively listening, not translating word by word.
And conversations become easier because your understanding forms in English before you even speak.
That's the goal. When comprehension appears in English automatically, fast English stops feeling like a challenge and becomes something you handle naturally.
So, in the next chapter, we'll show learners how to keep this system going long term, because understanding fast English grows with repetition and consistency.
Yes, it becomes a listening lifestyle, not just a study method.
So, David, now that we've explained how to use the 3 steps in real life, I think the last thing learners need is a long term plan, because automatic comprehension doesn't happen in one day. It grows slowly, and it grows stronger when you know how to maintain it.
Right. And one of the biggest mistakes learners make is trying to understand everything at once. They listen to a fast native speaker, miss a few words, and immediately feel like they failed. But nothing is wrong. They just tried to force 100% comprehension too soon.
Exactly. Understanding every single word isn't the goal, especially at the beginning. The real goal is to create small, consistent English listening moments every day that focus on the main message.
Yes, consistency beats intensity. If you practice tiny listening routines every day, even for 5 minutes, your brain builds a stronger habit than doing one long, stressful session once a week.
And one way to keep the habit going is choosing fixed audio triggers in your day. Triggers are moments that tell your brain to switch into active English listening automatically.
For example, every time you put on your headphones for your commute, you commit to listening actively to an English podcast. Or every time you open a news app, you choose one short English clip. These triggers repeat naturally, which makes them easy to follow.
Yes, and because they're linked to actions you already do, they don't feel like extra work.
Another long-term strategy is using what I call micro celebrations. These are small moments when you congratulate yourself for understanding something important, even if you missed a few words.
I love that. It's like saying, nice, I got the main idea, or that felt good. These tiny positive reactions tell your brain, keep doing this.
Exactly. The brain loves rewards. If you feel good after understanding part of fast English, your brain wants to repeat the experience.
Another helpful technique is rotating your English listening sources every few weeks. Sometimes habits become invisible, or the content becomes too familiar.
Yes. So maybe for 2 weeks, you listen to one podcast. Then you switch to a YouTube channel for the next 2 weeks. Then for the next 2 weeks, you focus on songs and try to catch lyrics.
This keeps your brain alert. It prevents automatic comprehension from becoming automatic boredom.
Exactly. You want automatic understanding, not automatic disconnection.
Another long-term tip is this. Don't judge your progress by how many words you catch. Judge it by how fast you understand the general idea and stay in the flow.
Yes, that's key. Automatic comprehension isn't about quantity, it's about speed and natural processing.
A great sign of progress is when fast English starts making sense without pausing, even if you can't repeat every detail.
Or when you join a conversation and answer correctly, even if you didn't catch every little word. Those tiny reactions show the habit is working.
Another important part of long-term growth is protecting your English listening environment. If you surround yourself with English even a little bit every day, automatic comprehension becomes stronger.
Yes, and this doesn't require watching a full movie daily. It can be something simple like a 10-minute video, a short podcast, or some English music while you work.
The goal is to keep your brain connected to the rhythm and sound of English, even on light days.
Some learners worry and ask, what if I stop practicing? Will I lose everything? And the answer is no. You don't lose it instantly.
Right. Once your brain starts understanding fast English automatically, the skill stays inside you. If you take a break for a few days, or even weeks, it comes back quickly.
Because comprehension isn't just knowledge, it's a trained skill.
Yes, and skills return faster than vocabulary lists or grammar rules.
Another long-term idea is using English for internal motivation. You can tell yourself, I'm improving, or my ear is getting better, or I understood that.
I love that. These short motivational lines build your confidence and strengthen your listening at the same time.
And when motivation happens in English, it becomes emotional, which makes the habit even stronger.
Another tip, don't aim for perfect comprehension. If you try to catch every single word, you slow down your progress and create frustration.
Yes, Automatic comprehension should be fast, not perfect. You don't correct missed words. You don't rewind mentally. You don't pause. You let the message flow and you understand enough.
And the beautiful part is that accuracy improves naturally over time as your ear learns more patterns.
Exactly. The more you listen, the more your brain absorbs unconsciously.
Another helpful long-term tool is creating English identity moments. These are small experiences where you feel like a pro listener.
Yes, maybe you understand a joke. Maybe you follow a complex discussion. Maybe you just nod confidently in a fast conversation and think, I got this.
Those moments strengthen your listening identity and make the habit meaningful, not mechanical.
And when understanding fast English becomes part of who you are, it becomes much easier to maintain long term.
Another simple way to stay motivated is to give yourself listening challenges. One week you try a new accent, another week you listen to a difficult topic, but only focus on the main ideas.
Challenges create momentum, they give you clear goals and help you notice real progress.
Yes, and progress doesn't mean perfect clarity. It means moments that were blurry before are now easier.
Exactly. Fast English won't always be crystal clear, but more and more parts will make sense instantly. That's listening fluency growing.
So if you keep practicing these 3 steps and you stay consistent, your English listening will become faster, easier, and more natural.
And one day, you'll notice something amazing. Fast English won't feel like a wall anymore. It will feel like a smooth stream of conversation.
A place where your understanding flows naturally.
And that's the moment you know you've made fast English a long-term part of your life.
Beautifully said. Now let's finish with a final reflection to help learners connect everything emotionally.
Yes, let's wrap it up with something inspiring.
You know, David, after exploring these 3 steps for understanding fast English, I think there's something powerful behind this whole method. It's not just about language. It's about learning to trust your ear and your brain again.
Yes, many learners feel that fast English is an impossible maze. They feel overwhelmed. They give up too easily. They doubt their ability. But when they break fast speech into small, manageable parts, they start feeling capable again.
Exactly. Automatic comprehension shows you that understanding isn't something outside of you. It's something you build inside yourself. One sound pattern at a time, one context clue at a time, one active thought at a time.
And what I love is that it removes pressure. You don't need perfect understanding. You don't need to catch every word. You just need a simple connection between the sound you hear and the meaning behind it.
Yes, and once that connection grows, English becomes a place where conversations flow naturally. You stop fighting the speed. You start moving with it.
And that feeling of flow changes everything. Suddenly you're not struggling. You're processing the language, you react faster, you understand more, you speak with more confidence because the incoming words finally make sense.
And learners should remember this. Automatic comprehension isn't magic. It's repetition. It's presence. It's consistency. It's telling your brain, this language, even when it's fast, belongs in my life.
Yes, and every time you catch a key sound or use context or make a quick summary, even something simple like got it, you strengthen that connection.
And it's amazing how these small listening victories change how you feel. When you understand fast English, even for a moment, you're not just learning. You're proving to yourself that you can live inside the language and move with its rhythm.
Exactly. And when you feel that even once, you realize listening fluency isn't far away, it's already inside you, growing quietly.
And maybe that's the most beautiful part of the method. Listening fluency doesn't start with perfect English. It starts with real English. As it's truly spoken.
Yes, real-world listening is the foundation. Speaking is just the expression of the understanding you already have. When your ear learns to form meaning from fast English, participation becomes natural.
And I hope every learner understands this. Your ear and your brain can do so much more than you think. They just need the right habits, the right routines, and the right small steps.
And those steps don't have to be perfect, they just need to be repeated. Listening fluency is built by showing up, not even for 1 minute, even for one sentence.
So to everyone listening, trust the process. Let fast English become part of your inner world. Let it appear in your routines, in your reactions, in your ability to follow conversations naturally.
Because when you do that, English stops being a subject you study and becomes a language you truly live in.
And one day, you'll experience something incredible. You'll be watching a show or listening to a conversation, or hearing a song, and the fast words will suddenly make sense without effort.
And in that moment, you'll know the method worked. You'll know you're listening like a pro.
And you should feel proud of that. It's a big achievement. It shows discipline, growth, and dedication.
So keep going. Keep training your ear. Keep using context. Keep engaging actively.
And remember, the goal isn't perfection. The goal is clarity, freedom to understand and respond without fear, even when people speak fast.
And you're already moving in that direction. Step by step, sound by sound.
Thank you for joining us today.
We hope this episode inspires you to master the art of understanding fast English.
See you next time on Love English Lab.
And until then, keep your ears open, your mind active, and your English growing.